Give to Jaden Terry, starter step, up the middle of the field, 40, big hole 50, he's gone 45, at the 30, left sideline 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Jaden Terry. The Tank with an answer. Give read option keeper, whole bunch of space, at the 40, got the 35, 30, up the middle of the field, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Bryce Underwood. And welcome to game night. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Tim with you here. Taking it at the 14-yard line with a feet offset by Tyson Mann. Jimmy's over the 30. Burst of speed at the 40. Right sideline 50. Able to get away from the tackle. Walking the tightrope at the 30. 25-20. All alone. 10-5. Touchdown Grandville. Snap to Underwood from the gun. Fake handoff on the RPO. Throwing left side. Caught Yarbrough. Sidesteps the defender at the 5. Walks into the end zone. Touchdown Belleville. The Tigers put it away. 34-17. They're going to go back-to-back. Fake handoff, keeper left side over the 45-yard line, outside the number of the 40, 35-30, left sideline 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, 7 touchdowns for Mason McKenzie, and Caledonia has just about served this one up on ice. All right, welcome back to the Tailgate Report. Nate Chandler. And we are into week 3. 2 weeks already in the books here in this high school football season. And today we're going to have a little bit, we've had like these hour-and-a-half long shows. This certainly isn't going to be that, just kind of with holiday weekend turnaround, our schedules. Unfortunately, no guest this week. The plan is that I think we'll probably be starting our Captain's Corner stuff next week, we hope, and some other interviews. So we'll get back on that next week. This is just kind of a shorter, get into it, get out of it episode, just so we can still have some content. Of course, remember, go to the MGN shop at MichiganGameNight.com to find more stuff. Actually, during the game Friday and Saturday, there are actually quite a few purchases, so I can't wait to see some of you out there wearing MGN merch and stuff at some of the games coming up. Also, of course, thanks to Farmers Insurance, to Centennial Securities. Also, thank you, as of like a couple minutes ago, to the Rainbow Grill in Grandville. They're under new ownership and working on the details. I don't even have all the details 100% figured out by the time I'm talking here, but they are going to have kind of a little bit smaller sponsorship. They're going to get in as our new Player of the Game award sponsor. So they'll be on for that. We'll have some reads. We'll have some stuff to do for that. So we thank them for coming on board as a little bit smaller partner. And if you have a company that maybe you don't want to do a full sponsorship, or even if you do, make sure you reach out to all of our contact information. You can even just DM us. I don't care. It's all me for the most part that'll be responding to you anyway. So I think that is all of our baseline stuff. So yeah, reach out if I'll finish my statement. Full sponsorship if you want a smaller, just to sponsor a little segment, whatever. We have that available, and we're still going as we get into the year long stuff. Blah, 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 blah. That's enough rambling. I'm going to let you talk for the first time. We're going to key off on that. Let's talk about last week. Mm-hmm. We made the trip out to Davison. It was a long one. And it was a great game at the half. It was 14-14 the second half. I mean, we saw why Davison is the state title team that we're talking about them as, and where Grandville still is a young team with a couple things to develop. So I guess just kind of start with some of your first baseline thoughts on the game. Yeah, I think the first half played really well. I think that's kind of the recipe that this Grandville team's going to need going forward when they're facing some of the tougher opponents, the Rockfords and Caledonias of the OK Red, as well as some of the other opponents there that are tougher. Just a really good Davison team. I think the number one takeaway we both had from the game was just how quality of a team that is all around. I think Grandville gave them their best punch and played the first 2 quarters really solid, did everything they could to stay in that football game. And then you see in the second half the adjustments for the second straight week, by the way, by that Davison team, just how strong they can be offensively and defensively when they get some time to talk things over, kind of see what looks they're going up against, and then the talent takes over and some of the play calling and what they are able to do in the second half and run away with that football game. Yeah, and we'll go kind of quickly here into the, we'll say the good and the bad from this game. By the way, I'm such a terrible pusher of merch. This shirt, this hat, his stuff, he has some more stuff as well coming. This is the dad cap, so if you like it, this is what is one of the items on the store. I actually wore the merch this week. forgot to mention it. So wanted to get that away. So we'll kind of break it just down to the good and the bad, and we'll get through this game quickly because there's only so much to talk about. First off, the good for Grandville. Jaden Terry, the long touchdown run, he was able to fight through injury as well. I think that's one of the first things I want to talk about is, again, Terry looks very good with the long touchdown run. We'll talk about some other guys in particular as well, but even after he was bottled up, even though he was nicked up, I think you like a lot of what you've seen. We saw the big explosive play, really kind of the first time we've gotten to watch one of those big explosive plays this year.
Yeah, I think that was huge at that point in the game too. A big play right after halftime to tie the game back up after Davison looked like they were going to be putting up some points. So a big run there after he'd been held in check for the most part in the first half, to see that he was kind of still going out there and was still going to break a big play there, and a run that he had to do a lot of work on. Of course, the offensive line had their hands full and was doing a good job trying to open up some holes against a very talented defensive line for the Cardinals.
Defensive line.
Yeah, that's a tough test for them, and I think Jaden Terry, along with help from the offensive line, they're able to break a couple tackles and provide one of the highlights of the night for the Bulldogs on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Another kind of individual, about Easton Sadinsky. I thought he was, he again was a guy maybe a little bit quieter in the second half to some extent, as the entire Grandville offense was. They were kind of chasing the ghost in behind. But Sadinsky, first half, in the pass game, as a runner, getting the big third down conversions. We've talked about him as a guy that would have to fill the shoes, very difficult shoes to fill, of Tyson Mann. I think this was the closest we've seen of him really slotting into that role as a receiving back and kind of a power when you need the yards back. I was very impressed by the way Easton played in this game. Yeah,
I think you see a little bit of what his role will continue to be moving forward. I think kind of trying to be that complement and that other really strong back in the backfield when teams are going to be keying in on Jaden Terry and trying to take him out of the game plan, to have that early on in the game to know right away you've got another trusted guy back there. You've got Sadinsky who you can give the football to in any down, any situation, and he's going to pick up some tough yards and going to keep the chains moving for you. And I think a strong performance from him and one that they'll look forward to keep growing upon moving forward.
Yeah, and a couple good throws as well. I think we saw Cash Ruff didn't have to make a ton. Carson Kopko really didn't get a chance to run free very much. The trap game was really bottled up. He had a couple nice runs where it was shut down and he bounced it outside. Of course, Graverson came in for the touchdown. So the backs, especially in the first half, looked pretty good. But second half, everything just kind of got behind you, a point that you're starting to throw the ball. You're getting out of what you need to do offensively. But also, I do want to say, the defense obviously is going to be the main talking point in terms of the bad, I think, off the top of that. But I think there were some bright spots. I think in the first half in particular, the defensive line did a good job of creating a little bit of havoc. They shut down what run lanes maybe Davison wanted. I think Davison's a team that does it backwards. They like to pass to open up the run game versus vice versa. But still, there wasn't much there run-wise. They were getting pressure on the quarterback in the first half. I think that's the good thing. Of course, Rojas with the INT. I thought Avon Cott did a really good job of ranging to make tackles. Even with some of the mistakes we'll talk about defensively in the second half, first half in particular, there are some really good bright spots. I think you look at that and you say, those guys do that performance again against Caledonia, against Rockford. I think it puts you in a good position.
Yeah, you see the potential defensively for sure. I think, as you mentioned, the defensive line getting in the backfield right away, making it difficult on the quarterback. We talked about Davison kind of likes to move the pocket around anyway and had their quarterback, Glennie, moving around. And so kind of forcing them into that early on, not just sitting back in the pocket and taking deep shots down the field. You saw the Cardinals try to do that a couple times and just miss on some of those throws, in a large part because the defensive line was getting back there and rushing those. The coverage at times was a little spotty at the back end, and some of those vertical shots and forcing a quick throw can be huge and disrupting some of those plays. But I think the defensive line was doing good early on, and of course the interception and being able to recover on some of those plays, those deep throws down the field, even if they were beat initially on some of that coverage, the over the top, able to recover and either get some pass breakups or the interception as well.
Yeah, and the bad. I think the bad, even though I'm of course as unbiased as they come, you still have to talk about the bad. I think the team would as well. And you have a game where it's 14-14 at the break. You lose the second half. What does the math come out to? 38-7. There's a 31-0 run as well after the Jaden Terry long touchdown run. So with that all said, with the good said, there's the obvious things are kind of the second half bad. And it's bad in the sense of, I think there are things that can... Good news is be worked on pretty easily. And again, I want to say, this is a team that's going to contend with Belleville and the like to win a state championship without any question in my mind. Like, if you want to win a championship, you're going to have to beat this team again down the road.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. First off, you kind of talked about it. We saw it a little bit watching from afar against Grand Blanc. I think there were a couple tackling issues and a couple of coverage issues that we saw in that secondary, and the speed. And I mean, they got crazy athletes on Davison, and that athletes that you're not going to see the bulk of the weeks. There might just be 2 weeks this year that you see those athletes. Now you got to win those 2 games.
Yep.
So that is the one thing, is that looked better in the first half. We talked about some of the things they did maybe to mask that, but there's probably going to have to be. I don't think we're jumping on a line, or we're not completely changing the math on what to talk about and saying there are some coverage and some tackling things that will have to be better, especially against air raid, slippery spread teams.
Yeah, I think, I mean, a team that, I mean, Davison is built to expose some of your weaknesses.
Yes,
and
regardless of what the weakness is.
Yeah, regardless of what your weakness is on defense. And I think you saw that what Davison was able to do at halftime and come up with some of that. I think we both talked about this during the game, is the trick play coming out of halftime there completely changes the feel of the game and kind of opened things up and really started the offensive explosion. I mean, I'm not saying that play completely wrecked the Grandville defense and changed the mindset from there, but there's no doubt that it was kind of a before and after situation where things kind of went downhill after that, and there was a lot more big plays and some of those issues started to creep in. So I think definitely you just look at some of the coverages on the outside when you've got receivers and running backs that can really spread the field and make you defend the entire field with talent like that. You saw some issues with the Bulldogs, and I think still some of the tackling in space and the second and third level, wrapping guys up. There's a lot of plays where you've got 5-10 yard gain, and you can probably live with that. Coach Landis is going to live with that, allowing them to get a couple yards here and there, and you come up and make the tackle and you make them work the entire way down the field. And just some times where there was some arm tackles, some missed tackles, and again, credit to Davison and having athletes that can make you miss. That's not to completely blame the Bulldogs defense, but there's some tackles that you just got to make. You got to come up and stop the guy and where he's at, rather than turning what could be a 10-yard gain and first down and into now it's a 50+ yard touchdown.
I mean, A.J. Hill, Banks, Williams, Naves to a lesser extent, those might be 3 of the top 5 fastest players Grandville sees all year long. Like, and that's even knowing what Cal has, knowing what Rockford has, knowing what some of these other teams have. Like, that still is knowing that and saying, like, Banks Williams in particular, that kid. I mean, Hill, so slippery. Banks Williams, like, some of those routes he ran, like getting free, and even in the first half because of pressure, he just got missed on it. That kid can fly. Offense, I put in the bad. The thing is, the offense, they get stopped down 28-21. They're then just kind of chasing the ghost. They can't get into the normal offense. They're forced to pass it. The opponent knows they're forced to pass it. Grandville, of course, a little bit limited out of the tee, some of what they can do. But the last bad I want to talk about is what kind of led to that. And I think it's just, these are the very correctable things, just little situational mistakes that piled up in a game where you're trying to win it on the margins against a very good team. I think this game, in my opinion, we said it off air almost immediately to each other too. The fumble immediately after the interception, to me, was kind of the turning point of this football game, because Grandville had a chance to get it into the locker room at worst 14-7, but maybe even 21-7, because their offense had, back-to-back drives rolled down the field and looked like they were going to be able to control the clock. There's about, 4 minutes left or so. So it looked like they were well set up to being able to, at minimum, have a 7-point lead. All of a sudden, you turn it right back over after Rojas made the great interception. Or sorry, not Rojas, Sanchez. Thanks to Rojas for Sanchez made the great interception. I'm trying to learn. I know most of the guys. I'm trying to still get the secondary all set in my head. So I think I said Rojas before. Correct that, Sanchez. I'll put a little graphic of this as Sanchez whenever I'm talking. Like me getting the Grand Rapids Catholic Central score wrong by just 40 points for not 40 points, but it was 15 points off. Whatever. It was a long show last week. So yeah, Sanchez, not Rojas on the interception, but he made the pick. And then the turnover, and then, still the 2-minute drill quickly scores, for Davison. That to me is kind of the turning point of the whole game of, like, you're trying to win this tight game on the margins with the style of offense and style of play you have. Make a mistake like that, make another mistake like that, and a game that should be a touchdown or 2 touchdown lead, you're tied, the other team gets the ball, trick play, bang, they're up. Jaden scores, they then score again, and it's kind of snowballs after that. Now all of a sudden you're playing the fast game out of control.
Yeah, I think the first half, the first quarter, especially that long drive that results in a touchdown, I mean, that's what the Bulldogs were looking to do, I think, most of the night. I mean, if you got a couple drives like that where you're converting on those third and fourth downs, which they were early on, and then keeping the chains moving, getting a couple bigger plays here and there, but for the most part, just grinding it out like what we've seen the Bulldogs be able to do against some quality opponents. And I think early on, and then you get that turnover, and you're thinking, okay, another chance to replicate that drive, as you said, punch in, maybe score again and take a bigger lead. But the fumble right away kind of killed that momentum, allowed the short field there for Davison to take the football back over and eventually score. But it's so important against a quality team like that you need to stay on schedule on your downs. You can't have the big turnovers. I mean, it's so cliche to say that you can't turn the football over, and you can't expect a zero turnover season. That's part of the game. It's going to happen. But that was definitely one of the big moments you look back at, and a huge swing of momentum that looked like the Bulldogs maybe going to be able to jump up a couple scores. Instead goes right back to being even, and we kind of all know where it went from there. But
all right, I think that's a good recap. Again, we have to, for our own schedule's sake, have to keep this show moving behind the scenes a little bit as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back to what is probably going to just be me on camera, doing a quick Grandville Grand Haven preview. 6:30 this Friday. We will be on the air from Gene Rothy Field for that one. Can't wait for it. So we'll do that, and we'll get going on everything else. We'll be right back.
Identify your number one personal trait, the thing that you do better than most others. If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FIN.
Hey everyone, Nate Dreyer from MGN, and MGN merch now available for purchase, and we have got a ton of options. Here's where you find the new MGN shop. Go to MichiganGameNight.com. Many of you have probably been there before. Click on the shop merch tab. Many of you have probably been to the MGN page on Michigan Sports Radio. Click on the Buy MGN merch tab. It'll take you here. We've partnered with Teespring, neat company that allows for us to have a lot of different shirt designs. They'll print them, they'll make them, they'll ship them out to you. So a neat way that allows us to have a lot of offerings. We've got a ton of really cool t-shirts, hats, snapback, dad hats, beanie hats, water bottles, more t-shirts, more sweatshirts, just a ton of options. Really, just a ton of options that you're going to be able to look through and find exactly what you may want. We've done what we can, like I said, with Teespring to try to stack this thing. We'll have plenty more options that we'll put up on social media, but make sure you check it out. All right, welcome back to the Tailgate Report. Truly amazing stuff here, folks, and this is going to be even funnier as you listen to the rest of the episode. We were rushed along, so we decided, like we've done in the past, that I'll just do a quick Grand Haven Grandville preview for everyone on my own, since I can do this part of it alone, and then Chandler had to run early. So my main thing is I was supposed to remind everyone that we'll have the draft for best helmets in West Michigan coming up at the end of the show. But in progress of making that graphic and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I actually forgot to shoot this segment. So everything is 90% packed up in terms of the soundboard and the equipment. So we're doing this old school or new school, and we're just doing a recording. So we're going to do a Grandville Grand Haven preview, just you and me quickly here as part of this Tailgate Report. This is the kind of stuff that only we can bring, and only I can screw up to this level. However, let's get going. So, Grand Haven, 27-14 win last time out over Traverse City West. They lost to Reese Puffer 41-13 to open the year. They currently ride, Grand Haven, a 12-game losing streak. New head coach, Andrew Biedenbender, comes in, first year head coach from West Ottawa staff. Most recently, he was a Grand Valley player. Young, energetic head coach with a young, energetic team. Keep an eye on that. And that's something that we'll talk about later on in the show as well. But essentially, this is a team that, they lose week 1, they come back, they win week 2. I think you're going to see more week over week growth with this team than probably any other team in the area, because you have such a young, team of sophomores and juniors playing big roles, and then a young first-year head coach. So I think you're going to see big progress year over year, or week over week, I should say. Grand Haven, this isn't going to be the same team in week 9 that they were in week 1, or even here in week 3. So keep an eye out for that, and a statement game for both sides. Grand Haven looking to end that losing streak in the red, looking to make a marquee win for their first-year head coach, and Grandville needs a bounce back. I mean, obviously coming off last week in Davison, like we just talked about, the Bulldogs come in definitely needing a bounce back, and this is their best opportunity in a lot of ways to try to do so against a team that, like I said, since I came in and Chandler a year later, I think they've only lost once to Grand Haven in their history, and that one loss coming in a playoff game where Grandville was on, their fourth string quarterback and a pretty good Grand Haven team that year. So this year, Grand Haven, first off, their offense, and same with the defense, I think it gets more quote unquote traditional this year. Last year, they were doing some different pistol stuff, some empty backfield motion stuff, just different looks out of that offense, as the year went along, and kind of out of necessity. They wound up having to do that to some extent. They go back to base 3-4 wide receiver spread, very similar to what you obviously would have seen at West Otto, what you'll see at Rockford, I think as well, and these other spread teams. I mean, the basic concepts of how they'll run the ball, how they'll throw the ball. For Grand Haven, it's all going to start around their junior quarterback, Xavier Rodriguez. We saw him last year. Dynamic quarterback in the run game and in the pass game. The offense runs through him. Last year, they changed the offense entirely to even get rid of guys in the backfield or just stay pistol with him and run everything through him. The same thing. We saw it against the Grandville game. Rodriguez with the ability to spread the field downfield as well. He also is, effective in the run game and helps run things in that way. So that's the number one guy. If looking at what's the one name Grandville's going to have to stop and have to focus on, Xavier Rodriguez is the one that makes this offense run at the end of the day. Chase Robinson, really interesting player. We saw him up last year, running back, wide receiver, defensive back on the other side of the ball. He'll play all over. They'll get him touches in a lot of ways. Important two-way playmaker, used most often as a wide receiver. We saw him run the ball last year some too, and really just a key multi-use player on the defensive side of the field as well. This is a defense that, kind of like Grandville, I think has gone a little bit more multiple. This year, it looks to me like a base 3-man front with some other pieces. I'm early on kind of in some of the research that you do. And of course, everyone changes up against Grandville so much. It's only so worth it to even actually look at what the base defense is when they come in, play the Bulldogs, and a base 3-man front turns into a base 5 or 6-man front. And, a team that likes to be in nickel all of a sudden has 10 guys in the box. So that's where things do change, a little bit. But Robinson, very big, along with Rodriguez as big time playmakers. Pretty solid team, Grand Haven. Grandville going to have to keep an eye on this in the trenches. Connor Van Beek, edge, defensive end, a tight end, Eli Ziska, defensive end and outside or offensive tackle. They'll anchor a pretty big unit, I think, on both sides, in a unit that, was young last year and kind of get that extra year of experience in now this year. And they're going to try to be able to match Grandville in the trenches. Will they be able to fully match Grandville in the trenches? That's to be determined. But I think they may have a chance to try to do so. And then also they'll, spread it out. I think, what does this game look like? I think you look at some of the West Ottawa games of the last couple years. The West Ottawa game last year, I think, was, a game that was kind of close at some points. Even the Grand Haven game was kind of close at some points with Grandville as the Grand Haven team down the stretch of the year was starting to find their legs a little bit in playing the way that they wanted to play down the stretch. And I think that's exactly what we're going to be kind of seeing and looking at in this one. It's a fascinating game, and it's such a big bounce back game. I think one of the things we'll be looking for is, can Grandville get back to doing what they want to do in terms of control the trenches, control the run game, control their offense, win the line of scrimmage, get ahead, stay ahead, grind the clock, do what they want. Can Grandville turn this into a 35-7, 35-10 type, just complete game that they want, maybe even better out of the defense? Who knows what they're going to be able to do, but a pretty explosive team that can score some points. I still think and sneak a couple points on the board in Grand Haven. That's what Grandville's looking for. Grand Haven looking for the upset, of course, but I think the Bulldogs just want a normal pace game. And, good East Kentwood team, good Hudsonville team coming up the next couple weeks. So your chance to get back to above 500, win one on the road before you have these, kind of back-to-back tough home games in the OK Red that follow. Really important game. And we have the coverage again starting 6:30 on
Friday night, michigansportsradio.com/MGN, or of course, michigangamenight.com or wherever else you may normally tune in radio coverage this week. But we'll have that one from Grand Haven. It was a really good place to go, like sitting on the visitor side. Nice own radio boost, kind of a new staff there in terms of some of the athletic department as well, along with the new coaching staff. So looking forward to getting to Grand Haven for this one this year. For sure, it's going to always, as they always are, it's going to be fast mix. Now we'll take a quick break out of this segment, and then we'll roll it over into our main segment of the day. We'll have our OK Red rankings, our OK Power 6, and of course we each picked our top 5. We'll explain it. Our top 5. We'll do a helmet draft of West Michigan, like I just alluded to. So this segment, apologies, it's not the production quality that it should have been, but I'm an idiot. So let's get on the next segment.
All right, welcome back. Keeping it moving along here for our own sake and everyone else's sake as well. Let's get into the OK Red, and we'll get into our Power 6. So first, OK Red. Right now, so last week, Grandville, of course, loses to Davison 52-21. Rockford beat Mona Shores 31-8. Cal beat North Farmington 42-7. East Kentwood lost to Byron Center 33-16. Hudsonville, good win against East Lansing 23-12. Grand Haven beat Traverse City West by 2 touchdowns 27-14. Jenison got shut out 21-0 against Forest Hills Northern. And then Portage Northern 41-13 beat West Ottawa. So that's the quick look. We'll get into our rankings. I think this is going to be one of our shortest ones of this yet because I think the rankings are outside of like arguing about like 5-6 or 4-3 or something are somewhat inarguable right now, even for someone that's wearing a Grandville football shirt and refused to give up. And last week talked a lot. Now again, Davis, as I said, we here are not panicking one iota because Grandville lost to a team that probably darn near is going to go out and just win the state championship. But still, let's do this. So 8-7-6. I'll go first with my bottom 3. I have Jenison last. I have West Ottawa 7. Those are the 2 0-2 teams. And then Grand Haven, they got the win against Traverse City West. We don't know what Traverse City West is this year. I'm going to make an assumption what Traverse City West is this year off of that result. But my guess is your 3 looks similar.
I've got the same 3.
The same.
Okay. I've got Jenison 8. I go back and forth here between 7 and 6 with Grand Haven and West Ottawa. I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go West Ottawa 7, Grand Haven 6. Of course, Grand Haven the win. Now, there, I think I agree with you that Traverse City West remains to be seen exactly how quality of a win that is, and it'd be exciting to see Grand Haven in person this week and maybe get a better idea, the eye test there in terms of where exactly they're going to be. But with a win, I'm going to bump them up to 6.
I think, and this is probably something I said in the last segment as well. We're shooting this segment before I do the segment you're going to see before this. I think Grand Haven's going to be a team that's going to have a lot of week-over-week improvement. So how good they were in week 1 or week 2, they might be a lot better with all these young players and a new coach by week 8 or week 9. So that's something to keep an eye on with them. Middle 3 spots. I have East Kentwood 5. I have Hudsonville 4. And because they lost, I've had to move Grandville to 3. It won't take much for me to move them up. I'll have them up a lot quicker than anyone else will. I still think that there is a top 3 tier, but for the time being, they have a loss on the board. Even I can't keep them up for that long. Yeah, I tried. I did it in my head, just trying to do it based on how good I think Davison is. But I'd assume you look similar.
I do. I've got East Kentwood 5, Hudsonville 4, Grandville 3. I think
this is so boring.
I still in my head. I've got East Kentwood and Hudsonville very close. I think maybe 2 weeks through the year I was a little higher on East Kentwood than maybe what they've shown through 2 weeks. Again, they lost to Byron Center. I think a very good team there yet, so not reading into that one a whole ton, but I think enough with how good Hudsonville has looked on the other end.
I'm getting increasingly higher on Hudsonville just because we talked preseason about how they maybe are forced to turn back into Hudsonville of old without having watched the games too much. You look at the scores and you look at some of the different highlights I have seen. It looks like physical, playing some defense, grinding it out. Like Hudsonville has maybe been forced to go into what makes them scary. And a couple weeks from now, I think Grandville has to – they always circle that game. They have to circle it more than they even were before because you're in not quite a letdown spot because you have West Ottawa still 2 before you go on to your big 2 games right in the middle of the schedule against the top 2. But no, Hudsonville to me right now is the main mover and shaker and winner in this conference for a team that we had maybe even in the bottom 3 type range potentially. They seem to be moving towards, like, they could knock on the door of the top 3 even.
Yep.
So they really are the main storyline, I think, of the early part of the season. And then, of course, that leaves Cal and Rockford. Who do you have number 1?
I've got Rockford 1, Cal 2.
I have the same. I mean, Caledonia, a couple big wins over teams that they frankly are supposed... Well, big win this week over a team they're supposed to win big over. Solid win last week over a team that should have been close. So, very impressive wins for them. But Rockford, with Muskegon, Mona Shores, who I'm not as high on Mona Shores as maybe some are, but I'm also maybe higher on Muskegon than what some still are. Those are still, regardless, 2 very good wins, 2 established programs, 2 programs that, run a similar offense, and an offense that can kind of beat you up if you aren't ready to meet them in the trenches. So, Rockford continues to make a statement through the first couple weeks of the year that they're controlling teams pretty good early in these things, and this Rockford team looks like they're not gone. They're still Rockford. All right, that's the OK Red. Like I said, we're moving along today for both our sake, for everyone else's sake. It's kind of a shorter show again. Turnover, holiday weekend, whatever, and some other things with our schedule. We have to keep it moving along. So we'll get to the Power 6, and then we'll get into, I didn't even tease it at the Open, which is not good work on mine. Make sure I'll tease at the start of the Grand Haven segment. Note to self. So if I miss it then in the start of the Grand Haven segment,
you got it covered now.
Then it's okay. Now it's covered. Power 6. So we each have Rockford atop the OK Red, OK Green. I have to make the move to Zeeland West again this week because they keep winning. Muskegon 0-2, the De La Salle loss. Good start for Zeeland East, a couple wins. The thing to watch still, though, is the long-term battle, and I still am not I'm not close to throwing away Muskegon in this conference battle.
Yeah, I think still, even 0-2, Muskegon's still a team that I think we're both expect big things from, but I'm glad I guess I made that move to Zeeland West last week. I was hesitant to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know if I wanted to. So I think definitely sticking with Zeeland West after another win.
Yeah, absolutely. OK White, this is the gauntlet of West Michigan. Right now, 6 teams, 2-0, and 6 teams that are really good teams, and D2 and D3 teams that are unbeaten. Forest Hill Central was the preseason pick for me. I have to keep them there because of that, but also I'll note Byron Center, really good win over East County. If we're talking about, maybe I darn near could have thought about elevating them because that win was so good. Of course, EGR, Lowell with impressive wins, in particular EGR with a very, very impressive win. So this is a tough conference to be in. I'll stick FHC. What say you?
Yeah, I've got FHC as well. Similar reason I had them preseason. I think of the teams mentioned, Byron Center is they've always been kind of my sleeper team. I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like I've always had them right in there, even sometimes when the season was not deserving of it. But I think Byron Center, the team that intrigues me the most there, again, of the teams that are starting off very well in the non-conference.
Yep, I agree. Keep an eye on that. Like we know what that Byron Center team has. They were young last year, and if there's a team that upsets the card a little bit on what FHC has, I think they're the one most likely. I mean, Lowell too. I mean, I saw Lowell in the playoffs, and they've got some pieces back, and they're tough. OK Blue, good start to the year. I do have to say for Allendale, Coopersville, a team I want to give a shout out to too as well at 2-0. I think Hamilton's 2-0 as well. I don't think their level of competition quite equals that of some of the other teams yet. I know they had a big highlight reel play that everyone I knew from Hamilton was sending me at the end of the week, whatever. There's my note to all my Hamilton co-grads that all graduated school with me and send me all their Hamilton stuff all the time. Right there. That's now my affiliation. I have West Catholic still. Say you.
I've got West Catholic as well.
This is the worst segment we've ever done.
Not a lot of changes. This is I've been high on West Catholic. I believe my overreaction last week was that they had already won the conference. Yep. So it's going to take something pretty serious for me to knock West Catholic off from there.
I think Coopersville has the size to maybe push them around and to be the team. And I know Allendale, very surprisingly, very good start through 2 weeks of the year. I think Coopersville is the team to mess that up for you. I think they're the only team that, we know Unity is going to be laying in the weeds still.
Right.
So I don't want to throw them out yet as well. OK Gold. This is where there may be a change. I had Grand Rapids Catholic Central before the season, had to move to South Christian because they were 1-0, whatever. I'm going back because
Flip-flopping.
Grand Rapids Catholic Central handled River Rouge. And if you watched week 1, Bryce Underwood threw a walk-off touchdown to beat River Rouge. So football math tells me that Grand Rapids Catholic Central is better than Belleville. Is that how it works out?
I think so.
And then it tells me that the Pat Fitzgerald team is better than Michigan State.
Okay. I think I followed you there.
Okay.
Yep. That was a lot of steps, but
That's football math.
That math checks out.
I'm pretty sure Loyola Chicago goes head-to-head with Michigan State, and they beat Michigan State. That's what I think.
Might not be a stretch.
That's what I think.
I watched enough of that game.
I know. It was a great football. What a football. Just a terrific football game to watch. Didn't want to make me claw my eyes out. Who do you have? Are you sticking South Christian after the loss or
So
not?
we're going to disagree on this one a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to ride with South Christian.
So we're just back to our corners.
We're going back to our corners here. I think I can't argue with the math that you just ran there, but I
Yep.
think I'm going to chalk it up to maybe some growing pains for South Christian. I still think there's a lot of talent there, too much to completely knock them off my pedestal here yet.
So do the power rankings. 1, Grand Rapids Catholic Central. No, sorry. 1, Loyola Chicago, Pat Fitzgerald University.
Yep.
And then 2 Michigan State. Michigan State still is 2.
Okay, they can make it up to 2. Yep.
And then 3 would be Grand Rapids Catholic Central, and then 4 Belleville.
Yes, yeah.
That would be the
Lots of
football
levels
math
there,
power
but-
rankings
Yeah.
based on what we saw. And
Right.
Western actually is above Michigan State, even though they lost to them.
Right, okay.
Just put that all together.
Yep. That's kind of a lot, but I think I got it.
Okay, glad we got it. And then Ohio State dead last
Right, naturally.
with Kyle McCord, with Devin Brown a little higher.
Yes.
This is now a college football show.
Yeah. And we're not biased.
No, not at all. We've proven that. It's our old friend, the OK Silver.
Yes.
So we have we have winners this week. That helps, or multiple winners. Belding is 1-1. Well, they were losers, but they remain winners because they have a win. And then Comstock Park got a win, so they're both 1-1. I guess you probably have to stay Belding if we went Belding the week before. They stay 1-1, and they have the pedigree of, had the longest playoff run, I guess, last year with a lot of the pieces back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to me, the silver remains confusing as ever, but
Yeah.
I think Belding has the best win of the season and a conference that has not many. So
Right. I mean, again, we've said it. The winner of this conference, I mean, is there a chance that you see 2 losses win this conference? Like, I feel almost pretty comfortable, oddly enough, saying that. Like, I think they're going to beat each other up that much. Like, unless one of these teams just is going to come out of the non-conference and we'll learn a lot. But I don't know anymore with them. So, I don't know. So, there you go. We pretty much did the same the whole way for literally this entire segment. Literally the
close.
entire red, and then all but the OK Gold, we just matched each other. So that is the state, I feel, right now. I feel like, I don't think, outside of South Christian's loss, which you ignored,
right.
I don't think we've seen a single result that's made you say, wow, that's insane. Maybe the Rockford-Muskegon being that much of a discrepancy. But if you told me that Rockford beat Muskegon, I'm not thinking twice about it, except for the fact it was a multiple touchdown game.
Yep.
So that's where we're at. Okay, here we go. This is the segment that everyone wants to see. This is the helmet segment. This is our draft. This is going to be a new thing we're going to do until we run out of topics. So it's going to be kind of a oh shoot, I should have brought up something here. We're going to pause the recording.
Okay.
And I'm going to then help us get set. And then we're going to pick right back up as he turns his computer from me. Because I have to figure out some sort of coin toss or how we're going to do this as I explain the rules. This is as well produced of a show as you're always going to find with us. So we're going to pause the recording and then we're going to magically have everything ready to go. Okay, we're back. Helmet draft. Okay, here's what we're going to do. So it's kind of a snake draft, kind of not. So we're going to each pick our 5 top helmets from West Michigan. We say West Michigan, we mean the OK plus, essentially Muskegon to Lowell, essentially like the local TV stations, their like coverage area. Let's just say that's essentially what we're gonna do. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna do spin a wheel here. We have me and I don't like I'm blue. I don't like that. God, that was not good.
It took me a second.
So we have us here, and whoever wins, they are going to get to pick their choice, either picking first or second and third, and then we'll just go back and forth. Not a straight snake draft, but I feel like it brings a little bit more strategy in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing, if you listen to the Bullpen Radio podcast that we did 4 episodes of and then I gave up on, we're not doing the BS. Like, we had auction. That was not worth it. That was dumb. So this is simple. I can actually follow this. So here we go. So we're going to start with doing this. Are there any rules I missed? Oh, if there happens to be a team that has 2 helmets, if there happens to be a team, you get both helmets, we'll just say, and then you can just pick what one you want on the graphic.
Okay.
Or whatever. If there happens to be a team that's going to probably get picked pretty highly that has 2 helmets now. Okay, are we ready? How does this work? All right, we're spinning. We're spinning. Oh, my gosh. Come on.
All right. So I can have you pick first, right? That's the rule we just said?
That's what you want. You can either have me go 1 and then you go 2, 3. Or so you can get whatever you want here.
I'm gonna do that.
You want me to pick first?
I want you to go 1-1.
I actually think that's not terrible. I need a pen. Hold up. Well, that you have one too. Well, then you don't have one.
I've got it right here.
Okay. I just got to cross. I like pen and paper.
Okay.
This is such a good show. I can't believe people watch this. Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to take them then. And then, like, I'll take the black one because it's the whatever one. I hate to do it, but like,
who are you picking?
I'm taking Rockford.
Okay, I just wanted to hear you say it.
I was going to say it. We weren't. I was setting it up.
Okay.
It is the iconic helmet in West Michigan. It's a cool look with the ram. The black one's the iconic one. The white one looks pretty. I like the white. I mean, especially the road whites. I love the icy white. Like the whole look. If we ever do a jersey thing, whatever. But like, I think they're the 1-1 pick, and I have to take them.
Okay.
So I apologize to everyone. I'm not going to be that homer. If you thought I was taking the block G, it will probably be coming later. But like, I got to take Rockford 1. I still think that's the helmet. There are some homer picks I want later, but I think they're 1.
Okay. Yeah, I was. If I'd gone 1-1, that was the one I was taking. But
I think it's the 1-1. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Nope. I agree there. That was on my big board. That was the first overall.
Okay.
So going second. It's got a couple options. I think that was the clear one, and then from here, I've got a lot that I really like, and so finding an order to this is going to be fun. I think, though, just my own personal taste, number 2, I'm going to go Mona Shores.
Okay. That was actually my number 2-ish on my big board, so we're in pretty good agreement right now. I love that helmet.
I love the baby blues.
Yes.
I'm a sucker for any
I like
sort of
love
blue,
the logo.
Really. Yep.
Like, yes.
Yep. So I think that's my second. So then third.
Yep.
Oh, this is tough. Do I go the rival right there? I might do it.
Take them both?
I might do it. I think I'm going to go Muskegon.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go Muskegon. I kind of a similar pick there with the Muskegon area, but I think, you can't argue the Big Red. Part of that I'm factoring into this, whether or not this is right or not, but it's kind of a brand that goes along with it.
So if you're telling me if I happen to put out a poll, you just happen to pick Muskegon and Mona Short, I picked Rockford, so.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't. You would call me boring, would probably be your term. In terms
That's
of
probably
my,
accurate.
My favorite jerseys are Notre Dame and Penn State.
Yep.
So you'd call me boring, but I liked the Muskegon helmet like a couple years ago before they started going with like kind of the shiny chromey look on the M.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it more before then.
Okay.
Also factor in they have those funky Zenith whatever brand face masks. Those are always kind of cool.
Yes.
I do have to say that much. So if
Okay.
I don't know if that actually is
that
part of this.
that's part of the helmet.
But
so I think
okay. But those are kind of neat. That
Okay.
They have like that.
That's
like
a compliment.
It's
I'll take
fast.
that.
It's like I don't know what it like. Looks like a bulldozer. Like a.
It does.
Yeah.
That's a tough look. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So we go back to me, and this is where I either make a little bit of a pick that I really, really want on my team because I think you might take it, but I don't know if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the strategy. Or there's another helmet that is unique that I also like. that I think there's a better chance of you taking.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the second of those. I'm going to take Cedar Springs.
Cedar Springs, okay.
And that was one I kind of forgot about them. And then I'm like, oh, that's a unique helmet. I like they're the only team that run the Michigan, the winged helmet design. It's kind of unique one, the black with the red and the white. I feel like it kind of sticks. It's unique. I like that. And it, like, regardless what their jersey design is, they have a identifiable look because of, I like the helmet. It's a clean, I think. It's different. I feel like it's kind of an iconic one, which is what I'm taking. I'm trying to not just take, off the start at least, I'm trying to not just take cool logo on the side of helmet, which is kind of what some of the other picks you made were.
Yep.
So that's why I'm going Cedar Springs.
Okay, we were along the same line of thinking, because my next pick, you've now got me questioning it, though. I was thinking Godwin Heights.
Oh, they do run that too. I forgot that they run the wing helmet and they run it in the color scheme that everyone wants.
I was going to say, that's the maize and blue, as close as you're going to get, at least. Not the exact thing.
Right. But so I wouldn't have taken that because I think it's a kind of posery.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna just say
taking the high road there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take them.
Okay.
So give me Godwin Heights.
All right. How did I forget? I completely forgot that they run that too. But no, I wouldn't have taken it because I like it, obviously. Well known that I like that helmet. I've made that clear now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, it's going to play. If you're thinking graphic, you're going to...
Hopefully.
It's going to play. It's going to half play.
Right.
It'll half
might
play.
Push them away, but...
I'm just going to take my personal pick, Muskegon Catholic Central.
Okay.
They run the gold domes, and they've made them shinier in the last couple years too. I'm going Muskegon Catholic Central. That's part of why I wanted to expand this draft to being like all of like kind of the TV station coverage area, not just the OK, because I really wanted them. So I'm going to take Muskegon Catholic Central. That is my personal 1-1 favorite helmet. But yeah.
I figured that pick had to be coming at some point. I didn't know.
Yes. I mean, it's why, like, obviously I'm a noted Michigan fan, but Notre Dame's got the best helmets. I mean, it's not even close.
And just for the record, that wasn't going to be a threat to pick that, but
I know I should have waited till pick 5. But
okay.
I know you, and you kind of like to be that way sometimes to me, and I could see there being a chance that you would just take it like in the 5th round, take it right before me,
just so you can't have it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is something I would do. But
yeah, it is.
I think I'm going to go a different direction. This is where we're going to short taste here a little bit.
We're going to go gaudy.
We're gonna go different. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm going Grand Rapids Union.
Okay, Grand Rapids Union. So we go with one of 2 wing designs.
Yeah.
Will he take them both? We may never know.
We'll see. But I mean, this is something I guess I wasn't fully up to speed on how cool these helmets were. But I was doing some research for this, and looking back, at least at the helmets they were wearing last year, I assume they're wearing them again this year.
I think they're the same helmets with like jerseys that aren't quite as up to snuff as the helmets this year. Yeah.
Those helmets are nice.
I think that's a Don Fellows thing. When he came in, I think he brought those helmets with him.
Big fan.
Okay. I'm sure you are. I imagine that's...
Give me the closest looking helmet to Oregon that you can find.
Which Oregon helmet?
All of them. Just the flashiest.
They don't have one. They don't have a home jersey. That's why anytime you see rankings that say Oregon's a top jersey, which one? They don't have a home jersey. It doesn't count. You can't have a good jersey if you don't have anything iconic. Take that, young people. Back to me. Go Dogs. I'll take Grandville. I love that helmet. Maroon. I love maroon and white.
Okay.
Maroon and white. Block G. I like the stripes down the middle. Give me Grandville. I'll take it now. I'll put it on the board. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know if you were going to take it, but I'll take it. I like that. I love that helmet.
I mean, I'm a homer as well, so when it comes to it, I don't know. I can't bash for that pick, I guess.
I like the helmet in general. See, that's the difference. As you say a homer, I love that helmet. Okay. I love their jerseys. Like they have, if we not to tip picks, if we were to do a jerseys draft of this thing and expand, I like the colors. I like the simplicity. I love the helmet.
Okay.
That's why I describe it in such a loving fashion every week when they're kicking off. Black, white G across the maroon helmet, 3 white stripes down the center, however I say it.
So this is the last pick, right? This is
your last pick, yeah.
Okay, this is tough because I've got a list of at least 4 or 5 more that I could all see going
bud.
Here.
So don't try that on me.
So I think... Oh, you're going to hate this one.
Probably. Are you going to go back-to-back on the
No,
wings?
I wasn't going to do that. I'm gonna go Hamilton.
The new one with the numbers on the side.
I was thinking
They do numbers one side and they do logo. The new one's fine.
Yes, the new one.
The one, whoever's idea it was, I don't know who it was, so I want to be careful in case it's someone I know. The one that was grimacing with the teeth coming out of the beak.
No.
No. Also, Hamilton went bad ever since they got sued by Iowa. Their peak was when they had Iowa's logo and everything, and then Iowa struck it down. And that was great about going to the middle school circa, 2012 when we were 11, whenever we were still in middle school. That was still on the floor everywhere. It was great.
No, I don't know. It's so unique. I'm, of course, a homer there as well, but I think the uniqueness of the mascot and the design, and of course I like the half mascot on the helmet. I think it's a sleek look.
I like the number, I do like that combo, having logo one side, number the other side. I do like that. I do like their new one is better than the old one. So I have the last pick. We'll have to do some of our honorable mentions after this as well, because there are some missing. So I'm between two. Well, three. I should just pick Holland Christian for that.
Just even it out.
I do like the Holland Christian with the script. But I don't know if that counts. I think that's their full-time helmet, isn't it? I don't know if they change it throughout the year.
Yeah,
though.
I don't know.
So that's what I don't know. I'm between... I'm almost thinking about just going with one that's good because I like the logo and it's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Lowell.
Okay.
I like the Red Arrow logo.
Yep.
I like that. Give me Lowell. I was between a couple. I think give me Lowell because it's more unique.
Yep, that was one of my honorable mentions that I was just gonna. I was between that one and Hamilton. Can't argue with I love the arrow on the side as well. I think that's an all-time classic.
So I was between. We'll do a rundown again. I mean, there should be a graphic, assuming that the graphics guy, whoever that is, was able to do it. There should be a graphic showing what we have, but we'll do a rundown. I was between Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Another one that I like, this similar to your Mona Shores pick, kind of a similar cool logo I like, and they've done some cool things with they've brought the gold in, I feel like, more in the last couple years to their design. I mean, again, it's, if you picked Union, you could have picked East Kentwood, because they do essentially kind of similar, so I think Union has more like chrome-ish, like look in it, versus EK I think is a little bit more... Well, they've changed so EK has kind of done a couple different swapping of colors with red and black as the primary, but the Oregon wing. I mean, South Christian, I think, again, I just said I like Penn State's jerseys. I like, East Lansing's jerseys. Like theirs, I think their jersey is better than the helmet on the whole. The helmet is a white helmet with a blue stripe or whatever. Do they put numbers on the side?
I do not know.
I can't remember.
So, but I might be wrong on that.
I can't remember 100%. Regardless, that's the base idea. I've always kind of liked. We'll see them this week. I've kind of liked Grand Havens. They have a good logo in the yellow.
Yep.
I don't know if they changed their helmet this year. I don't think so, but they've changed the helmet a couple times. So I'm thinking kind of last year's helmet that we saw. It's why I left them out. Any others?
Nope, Grand Haven was on my list as well. I think I had Caledonia, another okay red team in there. That
I don't like matte.
I
don't like the matte with that logo.
And I know there's a lot of hate out there for the primary color purple. Sometimes I've heard that, but I'm a Vikings fan and I love the color purple and I love the matte. So
yeah, I like it. I like their whole jerseys more than what they used to have. I mean, the Pennington era jerseys are a big upgrade over. Well, the main thing is they used to run the shoulder pads straight out of like 1995 still as well. Like that was something. So I like their jerseys on the whole more. And I think I like the helmet more. I like the logo on the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't love doing matte for matte's sake on helmets like that. Like I would prefer Michigan to go back to a little more gloss, or at least like a semi-gloss. I mean, I can get really in-depth because I work in literally paint auto industry stuff as part of my day job. Like I could get more in-depth of how exactly I want it to look. But Okay.
Zealand East, Zealand West, both in there as well. I think.
Yep.
The Zealand West has just got the green helmet. I wish they had the
Zealand,
duck
yeah.
on the helmet. That's my pander there, I guess.
Okay, that's your pander there. Yeah, anywhere else? Like I said, I love the Holland Christian maroons when it says that, the maroons in script on the white helmet. I like it when they've run that. I don't know if that, I think it's their full-time helmet now, but they've changed it a couple times, and they do kind of new jerseys every year a little bit. I don't know if I have anything else that comes to mind. I mean, then you just kind of get into logos on helmets a little bit. I've liked some of what West Ottawa's done based on the year. I liked it the years that they had like the woe back to the logo one. I think one year they did woe on. They might do it this year. Woe on one side and then the
Panther,
the number on the other,
or
whatever they did.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, that's our draft.
All right.
You gotta go.
I do.
Like bad.
I gotta go get run over.
Yeah.
By linemen.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go. I'll wrap up the show. So again, Rockford, Cedar Springs, MCC, Grandville, Lowell, Mona Shores, Muskegon, Godwin Heights, Grand Rapids Union, Hamilton, 6:30. We're on the air. Radio broadcast from Grand Haven. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to the Tailgate Report. He really has to go. Bye.